Hey everyone, welcome to See Joy and Expand podcast. I'm finally making a video. If you're listening to me on the pod, the video is going to be on Substack. I may drop this into YouTube. I've been a lot of things happening this past week with what's going on a collective level, societal. And you all know what happened on Monday. The inauguration happened, so I don't know if anybody else has been feeling this, but this has been the most challenging January I've ever had in my life. And if you're already somebody who's energetically sensitive, I'm coming to terms that I'm understanding that now, because as let me give you a background if you haven't listened to my old podcast episodes, is I awakened during the Great Awakening during 2021. I was a ICU nurse for 14 years, and on 2021, I decided that I wanted to get out of nursing. So I left ICU bedside, did something else in nursing, and then last year in March, I decided it felt like it was time to quit my job, but I didn't know that nursing was completed for me. I didn't realize, because every time towards the middle of last year, I was like, okay, I'm running out of money. And it was a very clear sign. It was time to leave. I was very burnt out and it was time to go. And towards the middle of last year, I started running out of money and I started applying for jobs and nothing, which is the most wild, mind-blowing thing to me, because I grew up with my mom and dad telling me, go into medicine, you will always be safe and secure there. And I'm finding the opposite, and it's blowing my mom's mind also. So I wrote a couple Substacks on it and shared my emotions about that experience. If you want to sift through Substack, there's a ton of free content on there about my path to how I got here in front of you all. So I just wanted to hop on here and give a formal hi and introduce myself. My name is Christian Joy Pinachos. I shifted into Christian Joy. That just felt like energetically, this is how I'm representing myself in this business, but everybody normally just calls me Christian, so you don't have to go by the whole name if you choose to connect with me and engage with me on Substack, or comments are open in Spotify. And TikTok is still open right now. I'll get into that in a second, but Sag Sun, Cap Moon, Virgo rising. I'm a 6'2" Manny-Gen in human design with emotional authority. I am an INFP in Myers-Briggs. What else? What else do you want to know about me? There's a what's it called? Personalities. The 4 tendencies, sorry. 4 tendencies, and I'm a rebel in the 4 tendencies. Look that up. It's a really fun quiz. If you're into Natalie Miles, she put out a intuitive type quiz that she channeled herself, and that was a lot of fun to do. It's really long, just FYI, I had to take a break. And my intuitive types, my top 3 is, what was it? Light bulber, creator, and noticer. And I have to say this, the first Instagram story I saw, or story, not reel, that I saw this morning, it was Natalie's. And it was a reel on noticers, and I watched it, and this is right after I woke up, middle of the night. Okay, I don't know if I said this because it's my second time re-recording this, but January has been really shitty for me. I did say it, sorry. ADHD brain, you guys, just in case if you haven't figured that out yet. I say that a lot on the pod, and I know that not everybody listens to everything or reads everything. Like sometimes my posts are too long, didn't read. And I also identify as ADHD, but I say undiagnosed ADHD because I feel like it's unfair to call myself ADHD. I've never been formally diagnosed, but I do resonate with all the qualities of somebody who has ADHD. Okay, so this morning, back to being what I was saying earlier in the beginning of the whole thing, my whole conversation is that my awakening journey started in 2020, and as I chose to become like more intuitive, I've become more energetically sensitive. I never identified as someone as energetically sensitive. So this month I was like, this is what people feel. I had the most shittiest sleep I've ever had in my whole entire life. I'm usually normally that person who like falls asleep between 10 and midnight. I'll wake up 8 or 10 hours later. This month has been collectively energetically wild, and I was like, what is happening? I'll be falling asleep anywhere between 2 and 5 in the morning. I'll still wake up in the middle of the night, and that's what happened this morning when I saw Natalie's video, is that I went to sleep around 2, I woke up around 4, and then my wheels start turning, and then I scrolled on Instagram, and I'm just wide awake. I already know not to do that, but I already done this a million times over in the month of January to know that I'm not going back to sleep just yet. So I'm looking through Instagram, making sure there's no fires. If you guys don't know, I am located in LA County. I'm on the southernmost part near OC, so we're far away from the fires, but it's still like energetically potent around here, like what everybody's feeling, like the fears and the anxiety. And then like my bleeding heart for the collective is like, I need to help people the best way I know how I can with my skill set, and that's been giving Reiki, distance Reiki. So, and then just like reaching out and just like sending a word of like concern, and like a lot of people feel that love if you just like send a word of concern, like I just checking on you, making sure you're okay. And aloneness, like love is a remedy for aloneness. Love is a remedy for feeling fear and all like shame, guilt, whatever. All the negative, I don't even want to say negative because there's something to learn from each emotion. So, but you get what I'm trying to say, is like love is like the polar opposite of a negative emotion is the medicine that is needed, or being the loving witness of those emotions. It's still love, noticing how you feel like in those emotions. It helps you garner the courage to witness it and let your body move through that feeling until it wanes. And then you'll find out, once you sit with your emotions and practice it is a practice, that they don't hold power over you if you give that feeling the loving attention of the observer or the witness. Drop a question anytime, because I know I explain things in a certain way, and I know some people might understand and some people don't. I totally understand, because everybody has their own perspectives and their own background that they fall on from their experiences. So if you don't understand what I'm saying, please, like, I will always welcome questions. Like, don't be afraid of me. I'm like the least like scary person in the world. But yeah, back to me waking up at 4 in the morning after like 2 hours and 50 minutes of sleep, because I looked back on my Oura ring, and the first thing I saw was a video from Natalie about noticers, and It's a video about, oh, my right ear's ringing right now. That noticers, they see a lot of things that a lot of people don't see, like in the shadows or from a wider, broader perspective. At least that's how I resonated with it. And right before I saw that video, I had like a huge download about a bunch of things that, like, pieces of information I've collected over the past like month. And in my human design, I don't remember what channel this is, but I'm the kind of person who can learn or engage or consume a piece of information, and then later on I'll be met with a scenario, and then all of a sudden, like, that piece of information just comes back to me, and I was like, oh, this is how this applies. This, like, it's like a piece of the puzzle, and it like clicks together. I don't know, that's how my brain works. And someone had said that it was part of my design, and I was like, that resonates a lot. I was like, but this morning I was piecing a lot of things together because I've been getting, oh my God, ever since Pisces, the North Node went into Pisces, which is a super intuitive sign. It's about emotions, and North Node is a collective, is about collective direction, and everybody's going to experience some kind of energy if they want to. Free will is a thing. Everybody's gonna be closer to their emotions and to their intuition, their gut instincts to some capacity in the next 18 months. And my intuition, just like, ever since the signs changed, well, I mean, I think leading up to it, because I was already like starting my Reiki practice, my intuition's like really come online very strong and very surprisingly. So that being said, what else can I share about myself? I am the kind of person, okay, because I'm a Sag, I have a Sagittarius stellium, which I have three, or that stellium means you have three or more signs, or three or more placements in the same sign in your birth chart in astrology. And then I have a stellium, I have a Capricorn stellium, and I have a Sagittarius stellium. I have a lot of those two energies in my birth chart. So what I want to share is that when I show up here in front of you guys, I'm very free-spirited person, and I tend to be more like go with the flow, and I show up however I want, because a lot of my friends are like, it's Christian, she doesn't care, who cares, like, be whatever. And I was like, thank you for saying that. I really don't, it's not that I don't care, as in I don't care about you. It's just that it is not of importance to me where I would be judgmental or whatever. I'm very like, come as you are kind of a vibe, if that makes sense. Like, I'm the kind of person who can connect with somebody and I will be your friend. If you want to be. I don't force friendship. But then again, and then on the caveat to that is that because I am free spirit, I'm all over the place. I may be harder to get in contact with, and that's something I've been learning a lot about because I have a business. And then also learning to convey and communicate that I also do have the 6-2 profile in my human design. The 2 profile is the Hermit. I do need that time away from people. I get people fatigue. I get people fatigue, even though I love people. And I'll have moments where I will not be, like, people don't know where I am. I'll be in my room for a very long time, and then people will know, like, I exist because I'm messaging them, but nobody will see my face for a very long time. So that's why there's a few reasons why I chose Substack as my platform of choice, which I'll get into that too, platform of choice, is that it allows me to hone my craft with words as an art. So I'll be communicating you guys with a lot of written work. And then when I do feel like it's time for me to let the sag out, I'll be showing up on here and doing all the things. And I do have video content. I think video content will be the direction I am going, but this is where I am now. And I'm like, when I say this is where I am now, I'm very much in the energy of honoring this is the space. This is how my life wants to be. This is how my energy wants to show up in this moment, along with the many different aspects of what I connect with my spirit team, with my guides. If you identify with a council, or if you identify, like, resonate with parts, like in parts work, there are different aspects of you that you can connect with. It could be inner child, it could be your inner teen, it could be the angsty part of you. For me, I have an inner rebel. You can have I said this in the last episode, essential part of you, whatever. They all have different names. It's like my favorite thing to teach people when they're working with me, when I do one-on-one sessions. And right now, and I think I shared this in the last episodes, but if this is the first time you're seeing me, I'm just going to talk about it again because I love it. It makes me so happy. And it's pertinent to the content that's coming out tomorrow, the Substack coming out tomorrow. I do connect with the spirit of my business, which is a unicorn. And tomorrow I have I built up a quantum hypnosis collection that's housed in Substack, and I'm re-releasing them so everybody can find them finally. They were kind of like hidden in Substack, like nobody knows they were there. So that it's a feature for paid subscribers so that they can understand what happens in a quantum hypnosis session, and also receive the energetic medicine through a session. So feel free to listen to all of them, or or allow yourself be intuitively called to any particular quantum hypnosis session. I see it being built out to the point where there's like so many, and you're just gonna flip through the screen like of all the old sessions, and like picking out tarot cards or oracle cards. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm sorry if there's background noise. It is what it is. This is how life wants to be. Background noise is a thing. I remember in one of my last episodes, the dog was barking, and I was like, I'm leaving in there. It's nature. Nature wants to be. Leave nature alone. Nature wants to be a part of this podcast. She's going to be a part of this podcast. And maybe this is the dog was a message for you in that moment of whatever you were thinking, or whatever I was saying, or both. I love animal signs. They've been coming up a lot in my Reiki. And then so the spirit of my business is a unicorn. She showed up for the first time for me in the quantum hypnosis session that I'm sharing tomorrow with you guys. I didn't know at the moment that she was going to be the spirit of my business. I found out later through meditation. And then and the intention for that session was to connect with my inner child and with my joy. And I realized through that process that my inner child healing and the way my business evolves, those paths like coincide. They're going hand in hand. They have a journey parallel to each other. And after last year, after healing so many things, I had a 9-year in numerology. I'm going to add in the notes on how to Google all these things, because I'm not the kind of person who just spits out information. I reference upon my own life, and you're going to be met with a lot of, like, a variety of modalities that I love to engage in. Because I'm a Manny-Gen, I'm ADHD, I love a lot, like, trying out a million different things, but I'm not the person who's going to give you that information. That is not my gift. That is not my wheelhouse. I'll leave that to the people that I do end up bringing on here on the podcast to convey the specialness in their gifts. And I trust that that's their medicine. This is my medicine. I love to tell stories. This is how I convey information and all that jazz. You know what I'm saying. So, what was I saying? So, though I understood that the two journeys weren't apart from each other, they go hand in hand, they're parallel. So, when I found that out, I cried, like, towards the end of the year. I've been doing more creative things. I believe it's episode 3 or 4, I have on the podcast, I have an episode where I share my art trauma story. And this is how I had an experience when I was like 4 or 5 or 6. And it was the experience that changed the trajectory of my life when it came to creativity. And I didn't think I thought the memories that I had from my childhood were lost forever. And when I was going through my coaching program, life coaching program a few years ago, it like came to me through somatic work, this long lost memory. And I was like, oh my God, I haven't like thought of this event for a very long time. And as I excavated and learned more about my journey and reflected in the space of feminine energy, which is like reflection. I know I was talking about feminine energy in the last episode, but I didn't go into the details of what that really entailed. But feminine energy has nothing to do with gender, but feminine energy is just the energy of receiving, going with the flow, rest. It's not like the doing nature. It's like taking a step back. Those are the words that can come up that's coming up on my mind right now. And when I received that memory, I was like floored. I was like, this is why I showed up in perfectionism. Such a very painful memory for my nervous system. As an adult, I look back at it and I was like, it seems like of no consequence, but my little child body, nervous system, that it still lived in my body, that trauma, it was still felt. So all of last year, while I quit my job and like was left with a lot of open time and space, like, and also it became a healing journey with money too. I was healing my relationship with creativity and my relationship with money at the same time. And that being said, the spirit of my business has its own path too. And if you are familiar with human design, if you're not, it's okay. We'll have more content about that in the future. I come from the belief, it resonates with me a lot, that everything has a spirit. Everything comes from universe, from source, from oneness, from spirit. We're all a part of this one energetic soup, for lack of a better word. My business has a spirit too. A water bottle has a spirit too. Everything is energy, like very plainly and matter-of-factly. Everything is energy. That's how that makes sense to me. And that belief system comes from old Japanese tradition that everything has a spirit, is energy. So therefore my spirit has its own spirit, or my business has its own spirit. And I looked up the human design of my business, which is really cool. And I realized she's a generator type. She's a 5-1 generator. And when I got to know my business, oh my God, that makes so much sense to me, because as my path has unfolded, I'm a manifesting generator. We tend to move really quickly, really fast, very scattered in many different directions. It doesn't make any logical sense, but we just follow where our energy goes. Like, oh, one day I'm into astrology, next it's human design, next it's like somatic stuff, breath work, quantum hypnosis. In fact, I have 3 titles, and now I'm starting to do Reiki, and I'm like, I don't even want to add Reiki to my title. I need to find a name that encapsulates everything. You just go by my name. This is my jam. I do many things. Jack of all trades. I don't know. I don't know. We'll figure this out. The name will come to me. Universe, give me a name. And so what was I gonna say? 5-1 generator, she has a sacral response, so she trusts her gut. And generators, they have I don't know what this, I used to think this, but I don't know how true this is, that they have a more linear path than a manifesting generator. They tend to go more step by step or systematically. Correct me if I'm wrong, add it in the comment, please. This is like the energy of my business is community, and like I can't know everything. I'm just a fucking human. That I know what I know based on what I've garnered until this point. And I was like, that makes so much sense, because I always try to, like, with my mad intense focus from human design as a manifesting generator, trying to make my business happen. But my business has her own journey, her own soul mission, and I'm just here to help her along. When that clicked into my brain, I was just like, okay, I get it now. And what was fucking dope about that was, oh shit, I have a lot of time to do whatever else I want to do. And that would be like the inner healing work, my relationship with money, or doing creative things or joyful things. My life path in numerology is a 5. So my journey towards fun, joy, adventure, free-spiritedness, which is so in line with my Sagittarius stellium, which I'm so fucking excited. I'm like, please, because I've lived a lot of my life working really hard as a first-generation Filipino American and undoing that programming. And now moving forward, it's going to be about levity and simple joy and pleasures is the values of this year. And I think that will be important for everybody as a collective whole too in the next few years. A lot of tough and challenging things are going to happen, and we're going to have to learn to garner joy and levity regardless of what's happening in our external worlds and society as it's crumbling. We all know that what has been the systems in place do not work anymore. So we are, if you didn't know this yet, I'm sorry if I'm the one who's going to burst this bubble for you, but we are in the phase where we're watching systems crumble. But we're going to be okay, because everything is temporary. Impermanence is the only truth. Change is the only constant. So it's gonna it's gonna suck at times. This week really sucked. And let's talk about this week. Oh my God. So a lot of changes have been happening. In my profile, my human design, I respond. I think that's called, is it authority or what's the word? Strategy is responding. So I see something, feel something, notice something, I respond from, and because of my authority, my emotional authority, I respond from a neutral emotional place, from neutral emotions, not from emotional highs or lows, because I might change my mind later. I've been emotionally neutral this whole week. And at the same time, I was like, holy fuck. What is happening? But I'm not surprised. So I'm like thinking back, yes, yeah, my emotions were pretty neutral because we all knew this was going to happen. Like, if you remember what happened the last time Trump was in office, a lot of things changed very quickly. Like, you close your eyes and 15 things changed. So, and the things that I noticed, it became very clear to me, and I even mentioned this in Instagram stories, like, if you think my decision to move away from Instagram and delete the account is hasty, these are my reasons. And I'm referring to, and I honor you if you don't believe that this is what happened, but in my eyes, what I see, and everybody has different perspectives, Elon Musk doing a Nazi salute was like totally floored me. And I'm the kind of person who is a skeptic, and I question, and I was just like, I think that's what that is. It feels like that's what it is. But let me ask just in case. And I asked several different people, and they were like, yeah, that happened. I actually watched the inauguration. And it reminds me how, depending on what perspective you come from, that you will not see it as that. And you know what? It is what it is. I'm not going to argue with any about that. If you saw it, I'm going to agree with you. Yes, you didn't see it. Because I understand the nervous system, and it works like the 180 degree, like, based on my belief system, that's what I saw. So I'm not the kind of person who will tell you you didn't see that didn't exist. I'm not going to argue with you because I'm done with the divisiveness. We're not doing that anymore. We're stepping into more of the Aquarian age energy. This is about community. That is your vibe. That's your belief system. Fucking cool. We're still going to work together. The only way out of systems crumbling is through and together, not by ourselves, and showing up as our unique selves. And that includes whatever beliefs you have. And I say that I've said this in past Substacks. I don't know how many times, but I'm just going to say it just in case. It is none of my business what you believe. All I want to do is work together, focus on love, focus on joy, fun, levity. Looking outside of the box, being your unique selves, coming up with solutions, because no, I don't believe anybody's coming to save us. But if we all come together as a group, and this is the energy of my business, it's about community, we're gonna make some fucking really cool magic happening. And this last year has been about that. I've networked with so many people, and I'm very excited to share all the cool people I've met over the past few years. I met a ton last year, so so excited. Because I'm always been my rebel insides, As always, I've always been an out-of-the-box thinker. And based on nervous system work that I'm very into, if you don't know that by now, you don't know what's possible unless you see someone else do it. That's just how the brain works. And this is why it's so important for everybody to show up as their unique medicine, because the way you are is medicine for someone else. Like, oh, they're doing that. Actually, I do that too. I actually feel safer to do that because I see someone else doing it. And that's just how we are wired as like community, like human beings. We're like tribal energy. We're meant to be together in groups and learn from each other. And with that being said, a lot of my work is moving forward is trying to, not trying to, but the focus will be on learning in a new and different way and making it fun and showing up in spaces together, because we learn better together. I'm gonna reiterate this stat, is that, before, this is where like the school system failed us, like that old outdated way of learning is to repetition, like doing the same thing over and over to learn a new skill. And there's a statistic, it takes like thousands of repetitions to learn a new skill. Whereas through play, you learn it in I think it's like six repetitions, 8, whatever, something like that, very small in comparison. When I heard that like blew my brain, but I was like, there's something to that. There's something important. Like, I'm very much of the frame of mind, like nothing comes into my field by accident. Like there's a purpose for this piece of information. And that's how my brain works too. Like, okay, there's something about that. And it just files in my brain automatically. So this week, why I want to talk about this week. A lot of crazy changes happened. A lot of people were scared online. Some people are still scared. A lot of people are hopeful because we're like, we've been through this before. We've been through a Trump presidency before. We're going to get through it. I believe that too. Our nervous systems are prepared. I put out a podcast episode said the last 5 years was in preparation for this year. We've been through so much shit already, and we're going to get through it. We are primed for whatever's coming next, whatever this year has for us and anything can happen. This month alone, a lot happened. Like, fucking whole of Southern California's on fire. It's insanity to me. But and it was like one of the subsects I wrote recently is like, I feel like a lot of the challenges we'll see moving forward begs the question, like, who am I? Who am I when I show up in times like these? At least that's a question I asked myself. So this week, a lot of fear and all that jazz, and a lot of weird things were happening on the tech end of Instagram. A lot of I'm not going to get into details, it's not important, but recently I read a book by Maria Ressa, How to Stand Up to a Dictator, and one of the first pages, which was like probably the most important page of the book, I never finished it. I was like halfway through and then I lent it to somebody because they really wanted to like understand what was happening. But Maria Ressa, she is a Filipino-American journalist. She was born in the Philippines, immigrated here when she was a child, went to Princeton, went back to the Philippines and became a journalist. And she was connected to a lot of people. And this first section, this particular page, I took a screenshot, I share it. I've been sharing it a lot on Instagram lately because it's a very important message, is that she's like, people need to, and she's also a Nobel laureate. She's just not just nobody. She's been through a lot. She said that, what did she say? She said people need to pay attention to what happens in my country, the Philippines, because Filipinos, before anybody else, were the people that were most there. The whole populace was like 97% of them was on Facebook before the rest of the world. And she was talking to Mark Zuckerberg, and she told Mark, and he like paused for a second, and he was like, where's the other 3%? And she like giggled at it at the time back in 2016. And then now she's not laughing anymore. And she said everything that happens in the Philippines, because she can see it, because she is a journalist, she was there in all these scenarios and things that had unfolded in her experience, is that things happen first in the Philippines, and then 2 or 3 years later, it happens in the rest of the world in other countries, including the United States. So this was what was circling in my brain this morning, that I was just like, I don't want to be a noticer. I don't want to be a noticer. Because when I pieced this together, my tummy felt nauseous. But what happened, I was like, everything happens in the Philippines first, the trends. What happened? What year is it? 2025. Okay, wait. This story outlines her experiences with the dictator Duterte in the Philippines. And he had over 12,000 people murdered for the war on drugs. And I was like, when did he rule? When was he president? Back in 2022. And who just came back in office? And when I put those pieces together, I was just like, and after I saw what Elon did, I was just like, okay. Do what you will with that information. That happened this morning, and this morning feels like a million days ago already. I processed a lot through that. And it's back to our, in an earlier podcast, our relationship to information, because information is so important, but if you let your mind carry yourself away with information, it's no longer a gift of insight. It's a curse, and it might derail your nervous system. And I'm not saying that this is gonna happen. Trump's gonna have a lot of people killed. But Maria Ressa has been warning us for a very long time. She wrote this book a while ago during the pandemic. So our relationship with information and awareness. So do what you will with that information. I honor where you are with it. I understand that people's nervous systems will be activated, but this felt important to share today. Please take tender care of yourself. Like, this is going to be that kind of year where all the last 5 years we are going to be in the moment, relying on all our self-care tools that we've learned over the years. That was apparent to me over this past, like, since January 6th, when all the fire started, that nervous system attendance, on-demand nervous system work is going to be very important for us in the coming years. So, anywho, pick up that book. It's very important, very insightful. If you want to, I am always a light, like, nudge people lightly into things. I never am like, you have to do this. I don't even do that with my clients. Like, if you ever speak to one of my clients, I'm never my thing. I just honor your path. Like, if you don't show up with me for 6 months, beautiful. Life is teaching you something instead of our connection together. And I trust that, because that's how my life has been. So why, if I trust that in my life, that's how my life has been, then I trust that in yours, that you needing a consistent coach is not might not be your jam. Beautiful. That's just the way it wants to be. That's how your life, your soul path wants to be. That's how it's manifesting. Anywho, so that being said, based on all the things that were happening on Instagram and like the TikTok ban and stuff like that happened also. It's like so many things fucking happened this week. I decided that I am moving away from Instagram. Don't know if I'm going to stay on TikTok based on what happened with that scenario, but my TikTok algorithm is immaculate, I have to say. Like, my inner child, very, very happy with everything I see on there. So I'm leaving TikTok as is. If you want to reach me there, I do have Substack and Blue Sky. I'm stepping away from Instagram. I already started the process of connecting with everybody that I've been in constant communication with, and like moving them to, like, we're starting WhatsApp groups and Telegram or chatting in text messages or other platforms. So that process has already started. All the people I wanted to collab with, I'm like, hey, let's like stay connected. I'm moving away from Instagram. Everybody's been very excited that I approached them. Oh, excuse me. Everybody's been excited that I approached them with this, because they've been feeling the same too. And I'm finding it actually very exciting that a lot of people that I do follow, that I do enjoy their content still, and I want to keep them with me. I shared this on Instagram stories. I'm having a very like Marie Kondo moment with my Instagram and my socials. Like, this is Spring May Joy. So, and I'm finding that a lot of people do have other platforms that they show up on, and it's like almost like they knew they needed a plan B just in case. They were all prepared. So bless them for knowing knowing that nothing is permanent, and the longevity of their business was something they chose to make, like, I don't know what word I wanted to use for that, but you know what I'm trying to say. So Instagram is definitely going to be deleted in the near future, whenever that happens. So my home is definitely Substack. I love that platform. It's very aligned with my values. And I've been talking for a while, and you guys know I try to keep this under an hour, these episodes, but I had a lot to say, so I'm gonna end it with this. A few changes on Substack through Reiki and meditation over the last few days, which felt like this past week felt like a month. I'm dropping my price for my Substack subscription to $7.77 a month. My business has always been about accessibility, and a lot of my content is free. Like, the paywall is only for the free things that paid subs get. So like, you can literally read everything in each post, and then like only the very bottom of it is paywalled, and that will be like the free perks for paid subs. And so far, a free perk for paid subs is Reiki. As I've been playing with this practice over the past month and really listening to my guidances moving forward, my intuition, my gut, it's bringing me joy. I've made Reiki just like an indefinite feature for paid subs. So if you're a paid subscriber and if you're aligned with receiving Reiki, excited to experiment with a new modality, something that may have not been affordable for you before, I do it for free. I love that there's no money attachment to it. And oh God, there's so much I want to say. I connect with money spirit also, but I will have to share that on a new episode because it's a lot I don't want to make this long. I made them indefinite. I only have one session open per day, 30-minute sessions. They're distance Reiki. They're not face-to-face. They're not on Zoom. You're going to receive Reiki from like wherever you are from me. And if you don't believe in that, if that like goes over your head, I'm very much a believer of quantum physics, so that's why it makes sense to me. All of my work has always been online, and this is the first time I'm doing something that doesn't require Zoom. And it's been a lot of fun to like give the Reiki, and then I don't even text people before the session. And then I give Reiki, and then I'll just like when you sign up for the session, there's like all the details and stuff like that, and all the questions for booking your session. And I send them their post-treatment like details, like what did I notice on my end. And then I just say like, hey, just like let me know if you noticed anything on your side. If you didn't, you still receive the Reiki energy. Like, you don't have to notice to receive anything. Like, everybody has different levels of sensitivity, or intuitive senses, different levels of sensitivity in their intuitive senses. Say that 5 times fast. And people have been replying with me with like the funniest stories. Like, not funny, actually, yeah, funny and like wild and like what, you experienced that? Like, oh, this has been coming for you already, and I saw that while we were doing Reiki. Like, I've been channeling a lot of animal signs, so this has been like an interesting unfolding journey. Like, the whole intuitive part, I never saw myself doing this, but this is just how the path has been unfolding within the past month. So anything is possible, you guys. So for $7.77, you get a bunch of free content through Substack. You get these videos from the podcast, so you can watch these if you want to. If you don't want to, I mean, these are available in audio version on the podcast. And then you're getting free Reiki on top of it. and you can book as many times as you want. I'm gonna go with the flow and see how that wants to unfold in itself, but so far it's just been like, it's open, you guys, like book as many times as you want. And it's been funny because the last like month, like a lot of people have been booking a lot of sessions, and it's been a lot of fun having all that practice. So thank you to everyone who has been engaging in my free offering. And what else is coming up? So because my business is in the energy of collaboration, there will be free workshops coming up. They'll be free. This is what I'm getting so far. I don't know the whole scope of what it's going to look like, but there will be fun workshops. I'm like in the energy of fun. They're going to be fun workshops where we are like more engaging. I'm not like I'm allergic to the whole like I'm gonna talk to you for a very long time kind of vibe. Like I do not do that. We're gonna talk to each other. Hopefully that doesn't freak you out. We're gonna participate and see each other's faces online, because the online space has always been a place where I've connected with people over the past years. And a lot of my friends, I have a lot of friends I haven't even met yet, but I talk to them every freaking day online. So and I do have friends IRL too, so that's unfolding. So the next workshop, I'm just gonna drop a little like a little tidbit. I have a really cool psychic workshop that's being worked on behind the scenes for you guys in February. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm really excited. My gut lit up when these ideas were coming in for this psychic workshop. This is gonna be free. Workshops are free. And then there will be replays, but the replays will not be available for free for long. I think it feels like there's gonna be a time limit, and you'll be able to have access to them through the Substack subscription is what I'm feeling right now at this moment. This could change any time, but just know that there are free fun workshops coming up with the people I collab with. And then paid subs also get access to all the quantum hypnosis recordings. And if you don't know, you get the energetic medicine with intention. If you intend on it while listening to these beautiful experiences that I have with clients, or my own experience, because I share mine too. Those are loads of fun to listen to if you want to. But basically everything is free, like all the other stuff I share so far. We'll see. But yeah, my subscription is lower now. So enjoy, you guys. Thank you for being with me, and it's nice letting you guys see me. I was gonna say nice seeing you, but I can't see you guys. And please, the chat is open now. It was open for just paid subs. The chat's open in Substack, so you can see that. You can engage with me in there too. So I love Substack. You don't have to sift through all the reels and weird content you see on other platforms. Anyways, I digress. Thank you for being with me, and so excited to connect with you all. Please drop a line, ask any questions, please. Like, it's okay. And I'll see you guys on the next one.